Hi, I am Morgan Vaughan. It is Facts at 5 on LTV. It is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. I am here with Chrissy Sampson from the East Hampton Star. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Morgan.
We have a lot to get through today and a lot of local things happening that we want to really touch on, so we're going to go a little bit fast, or hopefully.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Okay, so let's start with a local top of the news right now.
Sure, and it's some good news today. There's an East Hampton town police officer who had contracted the coronavirus who is recovering.
Yay!
Yes.
Awesome.
Chief Michael Sarlo reports that he is almost completely out of the window of treatment after having contracted the virus through what they believe is an off-duty interaction.
Okay.
This is according to the East Hampton Star. The officer had taken careful and proactive steps to self-quarantine, according to Chief Sarlo.
Okay.
We wish him well.
Yep.
We're glad to hear he's recovering.
That is amazing news. Okay, so stats from Suffolk County as well, because here we are. So on April 1st, we are in East Hampton, we are at 26 people. Comprises the information for the records available to Suffolk County. Southampton has 123.
123.
Up from 99.
That's 24
yesterday.
cases up from yesterday.
Yep.
And, given that East Hampton only has 26, although Southampton is a bigger town.
Southampton is definitely a bigger town. So it makes a little bit more sense. I'm not sure how they get these numbers anyway. It's all a mystery to me.
Well, they have to confirm. I've been on Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone's calls, here and there. And what they're doing is they assess the patient's condition first, whether or not there's a positive COVID-19 case.
Okay.
And they don't necessarily say, oh, what town are you from, as their next question.
Right.
So there are still quite a few records that have not been determined.
Okay.
So there could be more folks out there that just haven't been confirmed as East Hampton town, though they have the virus.
Right.
So that's why the county executive updates us every day.
Okay. It's really helpful. And so right now, there's, out of the 19,300 tests that have been taken, 7,605 confirmed cases, and 897 patients are hospitalized, and 272 of those are in intensive care. And unfortunately, there have been 69 deaths due to the coronavirus in Suffolk County.
So one of the things that isn't talked about a whole lot right now is the rate of recovery and hospital discharges. That is happening too, and we don't hear as much about it. And this is a really good thing that we can hear about because, there might be 80,000 cases in New York State, but, as of today, almost 6,200 people have recovered and have been discharged from the hospital. So, I don't want to be all doom and gloom because we can get through this.
Yes, that is really good news. Another thing, I just wanted to update this from yesterday because we talked about the Riverhead testing site. So we have some new information. We were asking yesterday, how long does it take to get the test back? It might take 3 to 5 days to get the test back. The test is billed through your insurance, but those were the big questions that we had. And I still have, at the end, I have the information about how you get there, what the number is to call. And as with everything, and as we've said before, you're only going to get tested if you are showing symptoms. You just can't call if you feel fine like I do and say, I just want a test. It's not going to happen, nor should it really at this point.
Right.
Okay, so next.
I think you wanted to talk about the way the coronavirus is impacting local elections.
Oh, I did. Look at this. Okay, thank you, Chrissy. Such a professional. Okay, so because of the executive order, the governor has ordered the postponement of any school board, library board, or village elections scheduled to take place in April or May of 2020, at least through June 1st. This order does not yet include the postponement of elections scheduled after May of 2020. In other words, as of right now, our local East Hampton Village Board election is not going to be affected by this. But other school board, et cetera, will be.
Also, the presidential primary election has been rescheduled. That will not be in April anymore. It will be in June now.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal to change it. I've lost my little organization of where we are going next.
I think that we wanted to touch on some of the economic impacts. And, Newsday today reported on a recent survey of people who rent their homes or apartments. 1 in 3 renters expects to have trouble paying their rent in the coming months.
Wow.
Unemployment is, fairly record at this point. 80,000 people filed for unemployment during the week ending March 21st.
Wow.
80,000. A third of the people in New York City
Right.
are unemployed. And there are also thousands here in Suffolk County. So what is happening on the state level is that New York State Senator Michael Gianaris has introduced a bill to impose a 90-day suspension of rent payments for those who have lost their jobs.
Okay.
So I can imagine that being really helpful, though renters advocates say that it's not necessarily a silver bullet for the trouble they're facing through the pandemic. It's not that your rent is going to be waived. You're
Right.
going to owe the rent.
It's just going to be later.
It's just going to be later, and you don't want to, there could be a payment plan option, but you want to make sure you're not falling behind.
And that's what's so important with the unemployment, which people have been definitely hitting the unemployment site, and that has been in huge numbers, which I was hearing today. So you have to be a little bit patient with that, I think.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well.
In terms of small business, there are a couple of different places that are offering help. One is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and I'll have that website at the end, and also the Small Business Association. And there are all sorts of loans that you can get now as even a not-for-profit, even a sole proprietor. So you can look, so we'll have those things at the end and really, really look at them and take advantage, because this is an unprecedented situation. We are all trying to figure this out as we go along, I think.
Absolutely. I think that I heard a rumor, and I was wondering if you could confirm it, about in East Hampton Village, main beach pavilion and benches.
Well, what I was confirmed today was that the benches in the village have been taken away, so that because people were just congregating. They were sitting at the, why wouldn't you? And we want to make sure that people are staying away from each other. Physical distancing, social distancing. And then I think what's going to happen, or maybe already has, is that the pavilion at Main Beach is also going to be cordoned off, because it's very easy to go and sit on the benches there and congregate there. So that will be another thing that the village is doing to help people social distance. They don't want to close the beaches.
Right, and that's something that, last weekend, the Southampton Village government sent out a notice to all their residents saying, please keep our facilities clean, please maintain social distances. They don't want to have to take further action.
Yeah.
I don't want to imagine what further action implies, but I think it's pretty universal at this point. It makes sense. Pick up your trash and, keep a distance from each other.
Yeah. And the last thing we want is not to be able to go to the beach and go for a walk with anybody that we are spending all this time with.
Absolutely.
What about the library?
So one of the great things that we do have to take advantage of right now is live classes, live offerings online through different apps like Zoom. The East Hampton Library tomorrow morning is at 11 a.m. We'll do Gardening by the Sea, a virtual live offering on Zoom. So mark your calendars. That's tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
And that's
at
easthamptonlibrary.org.
easthamptonlibrary.org. And, we'll have they're doing a number of programs. There's upcoming things about meditation. There's upcoming music and storytelling events. So, why don't I think it'll be a good idea to keep everybody updated on that.
I think that the libraries have been really going above and beyond.
Another thing the Suffolk County library system did is they pooled a lot of the libraries, dozens of libraries in the system, pooled resources and created a 3D printer farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's wild. And so, various libraries have each sent a 3D printer to the headquarters at Suffolk County Library System.
Oh, my gosh.
They're going to be printing 3D mask components, 3D printing face shield components and things like that for personal protective
Oh,
equipment.
my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And that'll be going to Stony Brook Hospital.
I love that. And the East Hampton Library is one of my favorite libraries, but the libraries out here are incredible. Amagansett Library, Sag Harbor, the John Germain Library is unbelievable. And all of them have been really stepping up and also offering content for children, because they're here,
Yeah. I know of at least 3 libraries, Montauk Library, John Germain Library, and the Amagansett Library included in that print farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some local aspects to it. It's almost like a victory garden.
See, I just love that. Okay, so you were going to talk about East End Cares.
East End Cares, this is a really positive story. So East End Cares is a network of more than 3,000 local volunteers. It's not a formal nonprofit.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. They've got a lot of flexibility, and they can be really nimble in how they respond to emergencies. And they've recently linked up with a group in Miami called Third Wave Volunteers. And Melissa Berman of East End Cares reports that Third Wave Volunteers has been, quote, scouring all over the place, finding masks and sending them our way. So Third Wave recently sent East End Cares more than 1,000 actually, N95 masks,
wow.
Which East End Cares turned around and said, hey, Southampton Hospital, here you go.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the other thing that East End Cares is doing is they've got a buddy system going on where you can, if you need a little bit of help right now, you're homebound or you can't get around and you need things, they will link up a buddy volunteer that can sort of like be your link to the outside world right now, a liaison to all the services and help that you need. And you can access East End Cares. They've got a new phone number. It is 646-456-8845. And their email address is eastendcares1@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll have to add that at the end too.
Sure.
That is incredible. I think that's just absolutely lovely. You know, we were talking before about how people have come together to do these amazing things with the volunteers, but what's interesting to me, being in a place like East Hampton, and I grew up here, where there has always been the super wealthy and sort of the people who do the work for them, is that all of the people who are the sort of quote-unquote regular people, the teachers, the stock clerks, the grocery store workers, the policemen, the librarians are all of a sudden becoming the people that we're all realizing are doing the most incredible job.
First responders are my heroes. Doctors are my hero. Even like the folks that I know from Stop and Shop and Cinderella and IGA.
It's unbelievable.
It's really great, and I can't even thank them enough personally. But
I don't think anyone can, and I hope that, it would be wonderful if there was sort of a societal change that would happen with this. I hope it does, because it isn't really fair. I've always thought that those jobs are some of the hardest in the world. So, just stand there all day and do the thing and be friendly and all of those things. I saw a woman practically, who was clearly wealthy, practically kowtowing to a grocery store clerk about her chicken breast. And I was like, this is an unprecedented moment in East Hampton, and I absolutely love it. More. So there's so many people to thank. We want to make sure that if you out there have an idea about who we can thank, please send it to us, because we will add every day. I've been putting on the crawl. Thank you to everybody. There are people that I've forgotten just because I didn't think of it in the moment. And the other thing that we were thinking would be interesting is to see what everybody's new workday attire is. Because I know that my workday attire has changed somewhat, in that I just have to sort of look pleasant from here up right now for this hour, for this 15 minutes, and the rest of it, who knows. But I thought that would be a little bit fun. Do you want to play with me, Chrissy?
I'm totally down
Okay.
For that, and I would love to see what we can come up with from all of you out there. What's our email address, Morgan?
It is facts@ltveh.org. So FACTS at ltveh.org. And so we want to see pictures of what the new normal is. And that includes the sweatpants that we're all wearing, or at least I am all the time. I even went to the store last night. I was like, do I really have to change? I mean, everybody knows this is a terrible situation.
We need to keep our sense of humor, and I think this will help us do that.
I think we definitely need to. And it is April Fool's. So there you go.
And we aren't joking about that, by the way. We really want to see,
your
new office attire.
I want to see it all. Chrissy, Sampson, thank you so much for being here today. You are such a fantastic wealth of information. I love it. And I am Morgan Vaughan, and this is Facts at 5, and we'll see you tomorrow.